Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Potato Plays here today with a bit of a different video. Today we are talking about Chinese metagame news. So basically SPIRITFORGed came out, we had a weekend right after it, that was basically the release. And now we are basically 2 weeks in and we've got a couple of tournament data from events that went over. So I have to make a couple disclaimers before we look into this data, which is firstly, these tournaments are mostly run in a best of one manner. So for our metagame here in Europe and US, I think people always play best of three, not only in regionals but even in locals. So the metagame might be slightly skewed towards best of one. You'll see some builds that are incredibly strong, but I don't think work very well when you're playing a best of three match. And besides that, it's been a week. It's basically been a week before these tournaments happened. So this is very early data, and most people probably couldn't still get their hands on what exactly they want to play. They might be playing unoptimized lists. And so you'll see, as you can see on the screen, Kai'Sa is now very favored, as in it's having a 24% meta share. And that's for two reasons. Firstly, most people just picked up the good cards from set 2 and slammed them into Kai'Sa decks. And Kai'Sa was already a good deck and got better, and basically most of the tweaking that you had to do to refine the deck has been already done. So there's not really big innovation in Kai'Sa besides adapting a couple of cards. While other new decks are still refining their numbers, they are still adjusting to the metagame and doing stuff that is completely new. So there's Kai'Sa in first place and Master Yi in third, but don't take these too seriously. I don't think you can build meta tier lists out of these just yet. We have to wait a couple more weeks to see how this develops, but I'm bringing you the early fresh news. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the site is basically classifying something that is above 10% meta share as tier 1, and that would be Kai'Sa and Raven. And something between 5 and 10%, it classifies it as tier 2, which it considers to be Master Yi, Irelia, Blade Dancer, and Victor Herald of the Arcane. And below that we have tier 3, which is between 5% and 0, I guess. So everything is tier 3 besides the tier 1 and 2. But on the top of tier 3 we'll see Annie and Azir, and right below it's Rek'Sai and Seth on the 2%, Ornn 2%, Rumble 2%, also Fiora. But mind you, if you look at this column, which is the number of top 8s, you have quite a different picture, because I don't know if we can organize. Okay, it has this icon, but you can't really organize by the number of top 8s. So basically, for example, Annie has more top 8s than Victor, Seth has more top 8s than some of the decks above it, and Fiora has 8 top 8s, which is akin to like Azir. And so even with just 2% play rate, Fiora has been doing great. Lucian is also down here on tier 3, but there's been a very good eye finish Lucian deck. So let's look into it. So this data is basically been gathered from like 2 weekends, but I'm just gonna focus on this weekend because it's the most recent one, and we have 4 big tournaments with over 100 people in China. So this is the One Step Cup with 101 players, and it was first place Kaisa, second place Kaisa, third place Set, fourth place Draven, and then on the top 8 we have 2 Master E's, another Kaisa, and a Rek'Sai. So let's look at some of these decks. So Kaisa here, the winning list is running Kaisa Survivor as the chosen champion, nothing to see here, but they are now running Plundering Poro, and this 3-drop that kinda surprised me. I was almost about including it in my Renata list, but I chose not to do it, but I'm now inclined to do it again. Card is insane. So card sharp is when you play me, you and each opponent may play a gold gear token exhausted. For each opponent who did, you play a gold gear token exhausted. Card's really good. So basically it's at least giving you a gold token. If your opponent chooses to have a gold token, you get 2 gold tokens. And that's incredibly favorable to you. So I would just assume this is 3 energy, 3 might for a gold token. Because your opponent probably never wants to give you another gold token. Unless he thinks it's already irrelevant, you have so many that he's just gonna make one for himself and give you one. Then we have Noxus Hopeful, Darius Trifarian, nothing new here. The new thing is Pharaoh's Forerunner. We've just seen this in the Humble Decklist video. I don't know if it's released. I'm not sure if I'm gonna release this video first or after the Humble Decklist video. But anyway, Pharaoh's Forerunner is an amazing card from SPIRITFORGed. It's a 6 energy and 1 red power for a 6 might unit that when dies creates another 2 tokens that are max. So it's basically giving you 12 power in total across multiple bodies, which is also very incredibly relevant. And then we have 3000 Tail Watcher, as it's usual. So then on the spells we have 2 Cleave and 1 Blood Rush. So Kaisa is actually swapping out 1 Cleave for 1 Blood Rush for the ability of kicking or paying the repeat and getting a better effect late game. 3 X-Tech Ray, 2 Retreat, 3 Stupefy, 3 Falling Star, 2 Piercing Light, which is also a new card from SPIRITFORGed. So Piercing Light is 2 energy, 1 red power for a card with repeat. So the same for the double effect. You can deal 2 to a unit at a battlefield, then deal 2 to up to 1 other unit. So you can use this to deal 2 to a unit and then 2 to another one. You can deal like 4 to 2 units. You can deal 2 to 4 different units. Maybe not. Maybe when you use the repeat you can only deal 4 to 2 units. I'm not sure. The wording is a little bit tricky. So then it's 1 Void Seeker, 1 Singularity, 1 Icatian Rain, and 1 Time Warp. For battlefields it's running Dreaming Tree, Void Gate, and Zone Warrants. And 7 Fury Runes, 5 Mind Runes. Maybe I should have displayed the deck like this. Yeah, this is a lot better to see, the deck list. So I don't think I talked about Watchful Sentry. I think I skipped instantly to card sharp, but yeah, this is basically the list. I'll scroll it so you guys can see it. It's more visible in this manner. And here you have deck stats. If you guys want to visit this website, by the way, it's riftdecks.com. Not sponsored or anything, but it's a good resource to have. Then, no, let me go back. I don't want to move to the next tournament just yet. Then we have the third place deck list, which is a set deck list that is running. Let's look at it. So it's set running a 9-3 split, so basically almost entirely body lists. Running Monastery of Irana, that's pretty standard. Then Seat of Power. Can we zoom in on this? Yeah, when you conquer here, draw 1 for each battlefield you and your allies conquer. So this means you want to conquer both battlefields. It's not an old list like you've seen in Houston. And then we have Sunken Temple. If you conquer with a mighty unit, you may pay 1 to draw 1. It's running 1 set Brawler as the chosen champion, then 3 Pit Rookie, 3 First Mate, 3 Sea Monkey. This is also a new card from SPIRITFORGed. As you can see here, you may pay 1 additional cost to play me, so it's either 2 energy for 2 might or 3 energy for, what does it say? When you play me, if you pay the additional cost, buff me. So you might make this come in already buffed for 1 more energy. So it's gonna be a 3 energy, 3 might unit. That's pretty good, and set cares about buffing, so this is relevant for set. Then it's running 3 Lucian, really? Oh, it's running a couple of equipment. Okay, so this is a pretty different set list. So it's running 3 Warmog's Armor, which makes sense, because Warmog's Armor says when I conquer, buff me, which is pretty relevant for set decks. So it's running Lucian, it's running 1 Aksha to steal other people's gear, probably. And then we have 3 Fiora, because it's one of the best cards you can run in set. 2 Ruin Runner. I don't think I talked about this card at all in my deck list previews, but I should, because this card seems pretty stupid. It's 6 energy for a 5 might unit that says I can't be chosen by enemy spells or abilities. So basically this is immune to any spells or abilities from your opponent. It can only be killed in combat, and if you have a buff in set, you can basically save this every time. Yeah, pretty good. Then I think I didn't speak about this card at all, because it's not relevant for any other deck other than set, but this is Fey Dragon. It's a 7 energy and 1 body rune for a 7 might unit, Fey Dragon, which reads, when you play me, buff up to 4 friendly units. When you spend a buff, play a gold gear token exhausted. Okay, so this basically makes... So let's talk about this step by step. So you can buff 4 friendly units, you can buff himself, so you can immediately put a buff on it and 3 other buffs somewhere else. And then it says when you spend a buff, you may play a gold gear token exhausted. So as you remember, Set's ability consumes buffs, and it's basically giving you a gold every time you use Set's ability. That's amazing. Then we have Bone Shiver, just a generally good equipment, and Punch First made it into Set. Even though Call to Glory is basically free in this deck, still people are choosing Punch First over Call to Glory. I don't know if I would do this. Probably I would run 2 Punch First and 1 Call to Glory, just because you can spend a buff to play Call to Glory. So the yellow power in this deck, it's not even for Fiora, because Fiora doesn't consume power. It's just for Eden Blade sometimes, I guess. Because you can also hide it for orange power if you want. Then we have 3 Showstopper, 3 Challenge, and yeah, it's a very cool list. I think it's worth a shot if you wanna try playing Set in Spiritforged. There's a couple of new tools like Sea Monkey, Ruin Runner, Fey Dragon, and these new equipments, Warmog's Armor and Bone Shiver. Punch First is also a very good card. None of these cards are expensive, this is all commons and uncommons except Bone Shiver. But yeah, it's very cool to know that you can upgrade Set pretty easily. I forgot Lucian in action. Okay, maybe these two, because they are rare, so there might be a little bit more expensive. Wait, is Lucian rare or is he? Yeah, it's rare. Because this was the alt art, I wasn't sure if it was rare or epic. Yeah. So let's go back to the same tournament. Still in the top 8, we have Draven, we have Mastery. I think I'm gonna look into Mastery because we'll have another tournament to look into Draven. So let's just keep watching all the decks with new stuff. So what's new for Mastery? This list is actually pretty similar to what I'm running right now, so I don't see any... Is there any new card in this Mastery list? Not at all. So there's a Mastery list just running stuff from Origins. If you guys wanna keep playing the same list, go ahead, this guy just did it. The next Mastery in the same top 8. Okay, this one is pretty different. So this guy is running Dreaming Tree, Valmos Lair, and what is this? Forge of Luft. While you control this battlefield, friendly legends have tap, attach an equipment you control to a unit you control. So basically, it must have a couple equipments in the decklist I haven't seen yet. Okay, so it's running 3 Lonely Poro. I think that's great for Mastery. I think you should do it. Because Lonely Poro reads, if I died alone, draw 1. And, you know, Mastery wants to have units alone on battlefields holding. Because its ability triggers when you are defending alone. So yeah, Lonely Poro is an awesome inclusion. I would do it myself. It's also running Sea Monkey that we've just seen in Set. It's running Navori Scout. So it's a 4 energy, 4 might unit with deflect, and that's it. It's a common from Spiritforged. Made it into Mastery. I think deflect is an amazing keyword, and I think sometimes people don't want to run Kiana because it consumes power. And if you want to run powerless units, Navori Scout is just basically Kiana without the Conquer clause. And it doesn't cost a power. Then we have 2 Blitzcrank in the main deck, 3 Ruin Runner, 2 Doran's Blade. Doran's Blade is a fresh one. So it's 2 energy for the 2 might equipment, and that's it. It's just a 2 might buff to your units. But I can see why you would run a 2 might buff. It would push some of these units into, like, Navori Scout would be 6 might, and then on the defense it would be 8. And Ruin Runner might be pretty obnoxious with this, especially if you put Guardian Angels on your units. Yeah, Guardian Angels is another pretty obvious inclusion. Twonk, it's the replacement for Rune Prison. I was running Rune Prison on my Mastery decklist. So it's 2 energy for stun an attacking unit with repeat and action speed. Yeah. Rune Prison was also action speed, it cost a green power, this one doesn't, and you can actually repeat it, which is an upgrade. Straight up, to Rune Prison. What else is here? Well, one wind wall, some lists already run wind wall. Punch first is an amazing combat trick. Yeah, it's pretty fresh, refreshing Mastery decklist. So this is the One Step Cup tournament. Let's look at I'll butcher these names. Chengdu City Challenge. Okay, so it's already 2 Kaisers on the top 8. Let's just look at the winner to have an idea. Okay, there's a couple of differences here. So we have 3 Forecaster, 2 Jammers. So this guy is running the mech package within Kaiser list. 2 Lecturing Yordle, then 2 Noxus Hopeful, 2 Darius, 2 Pharaoh's Forerunner. Let's look at a list like this. I prefer it. It's easier for you guys too. It's a 7-5 split on Fury and Mind runes, and then it's running 2 Time Warp with just 5 Mind runes. That's dicey, but I can see it work. So you have to have 10 on the table to even cast it. So 1 Progress Day. How many Thermo Beams? 1. 1 Rocket Barrage, 1 Piercing Light, 3 Falling Star. These are cards that probably will be present on the sideboard. Progress Day, Thermo Beam, Rocket Barrage. So, hey guys, but it from the future here. Just to say that I had to cut the video and split it into 2. So I'll be posting tomorrow the other lists from the top 8s and talk about them. See you guys. Bye.